prophecy of the giant slayer. The story of David slaying the giant is a prophetic foreshadow of the end times and the return of Christ, the Davidic king. And if we look to this account in the Old Testament, you'll see the prophetic foreshadow. Piece by piece, let's go over this. First, the story of Goliath calling the giant versus Israel to battle. We see the two testifying of the battle of Israel and the giant and the stone in the book of Samuel, chapter 17, verse 2 through 4. And Saul and the men of Israel were gathered together and pitched by the valley of Elah, and set the battle in array against the Philistines. And the Philistines stood on the mountain on one side, and Israel stood on the mountain on the other side, and there was a valley between them. And there went out a champion out of the camp of Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. So we see here a giant of huge stature. Samuel chapter 17, verse 8. And he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel, and said unto them, Why are you come out to set your battle in array? Am I not a Philistine, and ye servants to Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. And the giant cried out against Israel. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 9, 10, and 19 and 20. If he be able to fight with me, and to kill me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us. And the Philistines said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. Now Saul and they, all the men of Israel, were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. And David rose up early in the morning. Make note here that David, the likeness of David, got up early in the morning for this battle. And left the sheep with a keeper, and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to fight, and shouted for the battle. So we see here that David rose early like the bright morning star. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 21. For Israel and the Philistines put the battle in array, army against army. They put the army against the army in battle array and got this ready. And 2 witnesses were there, David and Saul testifying of this battle with the giant. Samuel chapter 17, verse 31. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. David then testified that their armies would be fed to birds. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 45 and 46. Then said David to the Philistines, Thou comest to me with the sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will the Lord deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee. I will give the carcasses of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, and all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. It is then that David hit the giant in the forehead with a stone. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 49. And David put his hand in his bag, and took thence a stone, and slang it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth. The stone hit the giant's forehead and put him to the ground. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 50. So David prevailed over the Philistine with the sling and with the stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him, but there was no sword in the hand of David. Then David took the sword and slew the giant. 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 51. Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. This is all a prophetic foreshadow of the end times. The giant of old was hit in the head with his forehead with a stone sent by David. And he was killed and slain and fed to birds. And the giant of the prophecy of Daniel in the end times is a stone that is sent from Christ, the Son of David, the bright morning star, thrown at the feet that brings that giant down, and they're slain with the sword and fed to the birds. Daniel chapter 2, verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The height of this giant was great. And like Goliath of Gath, this statue of this image and this giant was great, and its height was great. Daniel chapter 2, verse 32. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. And this giant had a stone hid its feet. This stone here. Daniel chapter 2, verse 34. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Just like the stone that hit the giant Goliath. It hits the giant image in the feet, not the forehead, in the feet. Daniel chapter 2, verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. The stone that hits the feet of the image brings down the image, and it fills the whole earth with the kingdom of God. And this is the prophecy that is spoken of in the book of Revelation chapter 2, verse 17. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name written, which no man knoweth, saving he that receiveth it. And this is the stone that is thrown at the beast's kingdom in the end times. And this battle is testified over by two prophets and two people in the book of Revelation, chapter 11, verse 3. And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. Yes, this battle is prophesied just like the battle of David and Saul with armies of Israel against Goliath. It's prophesied of them as well, of the end times. It's a prophetic foreshadow that the stone will come out and kill the giant and slay the giant. The giant will be brought down and he will be fed to birds. This giant gets hit on his feet and they're fed to birds. And that war is began to be seen in Revelation chapter 11, verse 7. It says, And when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them, and shall overcome them and kill them. And just like David, who throws the stone and rises early in the morning, Christ, that bright morning star, will come in the darkness, rising early for that battle. Revelation chapter 22, verse 16. I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and offspring of David, and the bright and morning star. And these armies are gathered against that giant's feet to throw the stone at the feet of the giant. With one, the son of David, the son of man, Christ, the Davidic king, who's like the bright morning star, rising early just like David when he went out to the battle array. In the prophecy of old, to slay Goliath of Gath with the stone in his forehead. It's all prophetic foreshadow and fulfillment. Revelation chapter 19, verse 19 shows the armies gathered for the battle array. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat upon the horse and against his army. And the beast and his feet of iron and clay will rise up and try to fight against Christ. The giant tries to fight against Christ with his feet. This is what's written. And just like the testimony of David saying that the people would be fed to birds, Christ also likens them to being fed to birds in the end times. When they try to fight and rise up, those feet of iron and clay try to rise up and fight against Christ, and that stone smites the feet, and they get fed to birds. Revelation chapter 19, verse 17 and 18. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God, that ye may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the fleshes of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And then we see, like David pulled out the sword and slayed them at the end of the battle. Revelation chapter 19, verse 21. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which proceedeth out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. All of this is a prophetic foreshadow that was spoken of during the time of David and Saul, the two witnesses of David and Saul in that battle array prophesying of the end, and the two witnesses in the end prophesying of that day that is to come as well, as the feet of iron and clay get smote with a stone. And that giant is brought down by a stone in the end, just like the time of David, where David threw that stone and it hit him in the forehead and brought that giant down. And this will occur again in the last days. And this is the prophecy of the giant slayer.